Hi, and welcome to Northwest Brew Talk. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
This is episode number 26. Each week we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved and drinking Washington beer. With almost 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you are new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer. On today's show, we have an interview with Peddler Brewing, our brew news and views, and local music from New Generation.
If you have any comments or questions, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, why not become a patron? With a donation, we offer everything from a guest hosting the show to a copy of our upcoming book, Washington Beer. Head over to nwbrewtalk.podbean.com for more details. To start the show, let's open a beer.
We will do that, but Washington Beer first draft is in the can, so we're moving along there. All right, this first beer is 3 Grid IPA from Schooner Exact.
Schooner Exact Brewing Company is located in Seattle, and they welcome all ages. They even allow your dogs on the patio. They're open 7 days a week, and they serve food.
They allow all ages to drink?
No, not to drink.
That
They let them come in.
nice aroma to that one.
Oh, very nice.
Very golden in color. You going to read that?
Of course.
I won't tell you it's golden then.
A blend of Yakima hops give this Northwest-style IPA a big, juicy, tropical citrus flavor. The light caramel and soft bready malts balance but don't interfere with the big hop character. It finishes dry, leaving you ready for more hoppy goodness. And that's right from their website. IBUs 62 and ABV 6.7%.
That's good. It is IPA. I like that. But trying some other stuff lately, and I've been liking some different things.
Yeah, you have been. They have a little history behind the naming of 3 Grid.
I'll drink some more.
The 3 Grid IPA is named after the 3 street grids of downtown Seattle. The story is there was a disagreement between the founding families on how the streets should be laid out, so it resulted in 3 distinct grids running into each other, creating a unique triangle-shaped blocks. Originally, our IPA was made with 3 grains and 3 hops, so it was a natural fit. Since then, we have fine-tuned this IPA to maximize hop aroma while creating a more sessionable IPA.
Very cool. I always like historic stories like that.
Oh, absolutely. Makes
Very
you
good.
enjoy the beer just a little bit more.
Exactly. And this is good. All right. Now, on to our brew news and views.
Last week, we had our summer special and highlighted some brewery tour options. This week, we have more. The Yakima Valley Spirits and Hops Trail is a pretty nice one to use if you want to visit the center of hop culture. On their website, you can create an itinerary of breweries, distilleries, restaurants serving local beer and spirits, wineries serving local beer and spirits, and other hop-related businesses like the American Hop Museum. Their website also has hop history. Definitely nice if you're traveling to the area. The next one we have is the South Sound Craft Crawl. This one has a passport to collect stamps. 9 stamps gets you a pint glass. With 15 breweries between Tacoma and Olympia on the map, and another 15 in the area, but not included, you could spend at least a weekend trying them all. Tacoma's Link Light Rail stops at 5 breweries all downtown, so take the train and drink away.
Say South Sound Craft Crawl and Link Light Rail, whatever. Say those all.
After a few beers.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The Washington Beer Commission was chartered by the state to promote the craft breweries in Washington. They run 6 beer festivals a year and also sponsor Washington Beer Lovers, better known as Wobble. They call it the official Washington Beer Fan Club. When you join for $30, you get a t-shirt, a monthly newsletter, specials at the festivals like extra tokens, and the passport. Like the other passports we've talked about, this one you collect either 20 or 60 stamps, and this year's big prize is a Wobble soccer scarf. Another cool way to drink beer while visiting multiple breweries in your neighborhood or across the state.
And there is some brewery news coming out of Bellingham. First off, local Public House, which is home to Menace Brewing, has a Kickstarter campaign going to help fund Bellingham Beer Lab, the state's first non-profit brewery. The idea behind the Beer Lab is to serve as a brew incubator and space for home brewers. Its primary focus will be to help home brewers establish and launch their own beer brands. They would have space to brew and a venue to debut their product. It would give brewers a chance to see if going pro is for them. The Beer Lab would be a not-for-profit with proceeds going to benefit charitable organizations selected by the brewers. Another aspect of the Beer Lab is for education classes, competitions, and other beer-related interests. If you're interested, go to Kickstarter.com and search Bellingham Beer Lab.
Very cool. Aslan Brewing Company in Bellingham had a rough start last year, receiving a bad review from a local reporter. Apparently things have gotten better. They've won some awards lately, and every time we've gone by, it's been busy.
Packed.
They are Washington's only certified organic brewery, so that's pretty cool. That has led them to being at capacity. According to marketing director C.J. Good, quote, "We are so excited, we've maxed out," unquote. They've added 2 45-barrel fermenters and will be able to brew even more beer. Their newly canned Batch 15 IPA we reviewed last week, and an interview with one of their founders, Jack Lamb, was on episode number 3 of our show. Bellingham has 2 additional breweries under construction, and both Wander and Culshan have recently expanded. Bellingham is a cool city with some great beer, so check it out soon.
Definitely.
And that's it for the brew news and views this week.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. Or if you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. If you like us, a review or rating would be really appreciated. But make sure that you tell your friends about Northwest Brew Talk.
Alrighty, now let's talk to Haley from Peddler Brewing in Ballard. We're here with Haley Woods from Peddler Brewing Company. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Awesome. Sitting outside in the sun.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Very nice. Mm-hmm. And we're actually sitting in what is going to be
the future beer garden.
Nice.
Yeah, opening at the end of May.
Nice. So, see some paving work done. And what else are you going to be doing back here?
We're actually sitting on what's going to be the stage area, which is a nice level raised platform here. We're going to have an outdoor bar that has probably 4 of the beers on tap. People can go inside and get the other ones if they want. A bunch of seating out here, spot for a food truck, room for bike parking, and yeah, lots and lots of people. I think the occupancy of the beer garden is about 400 people, so it'll definitely expand what we can hold on nice sunny days like today.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah.
So Peddler, geared towards bicycling.
Cyclists, yep, absolutely. We love cyclists.
So you're an avid bicyclist?
I am, yes. All 3 of us, the 3 owners.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
We all love riding our bikes around.
Nice. And so obviously that's where the name came from?
Yeah, we knew when we were looking to open a brewery, we wanted to have something that was focused on cycling, and so the names that we were generating were revolving around that. We liked the name Peddler being spelled as the way of selling things, and but also, meaning in a play on words for riding bikes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice little double meaning there.
Yep, exactly.
So when did you guys open?
We opened in March of 2013, so we've just come by our 2-year anniversary.
Nice. And what made you want to open a brewery?
Gosh, I don't know. Beer? I love a beer. I have always been interested in starting a business of my own, customer service-oriented business, and my boyfriend at the time, Dave, was really into brewing and had been brewing for about 10 years, home brewing, and was definitely enjoying it. The all-grain home brewing is it's a big process in a home. It takes up a lot of space, and half of our living space was pretty much dedicated to his home brewing, and it was getting a little excessive. And so we were talking about that and the possibility of opening a brewery, and also at the point of our lives that we were at. We were, younger, not married, didn't have kids, kind of ready to jump into something new at that point and potentially fall back on what were our current, career jobs that we had just started.
Right.
So we decided it was the right time to go for it.
So you abandoned your career job?
We did. We both did, yes, after a few years in.
Nice.
Yep.
Right choice so far?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there are definite good parts of having career jobs that pay well and have consistent hours and all of that. And it's not your own business.
Right,
so you can have sick days and all those things.
Exactly. That's a bonus.
Those don't happen anymore. But it's so great. It's so much fun. There's really never a dull moment. There's always something new to do and new to learn and new to try. Yeah.
Sick days do happen, but you go to work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference.
Surprisingly, neither of us have been very sick so far.
That's good.
So, yeah, it's good. We don't have, we just started having employees in the tasting room, but before that, for basically 2 years, we did it ourselves. And, didn't have to call in any help for sick days.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, what type of funding did you guys use to get started?
It was all self-funding.
Okay.
So Dave and I, we continued keeping our day jobs through, let's see, we started leasing the space in June, and I quit my job at the end of the following year, so 1 year later, and Dave worked for a year and a half after.
Okay.
So we were doing both, and so we would at the end of each month take the amount of money that we had gotten from our paychecks that we hadn't used toward rent and food and shove that into the brewery account. Did that every month. And we also, at the very end, getting ready, I guess in about December, realized that we needed more funding to get to the point of opening sooner than just waiting paycheck to paycheck to have the funding. I mean, we were ready on the build out. We just didn't have the funds for stuff like glassware and tables and all the, kind of finishing stuff to get everything up and going. So we decided to do a Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
And it was a recommendation from a friend, and we were a little hesitant about it, and we set our goal at $5,000, thinking, if we have a number of family and friends that want to help out, we can reach that goal achievably. Right. But it ended up being super successful, and a lot of people that funded us we didn't even know, and we ended up reaching $18,000, which
excellent.
is just, so amazing and so great and so helpful to get us open. Mm-hmm. So, but mostly self-funding. We've taken out a couple loans since when we've upgraded and got new equipment, but otherwise fairly, self-funded.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what did the building used to be?
It was vacant for about 3 years before we leased it. Before that, it was where Maritime Pacific Brewing. They had their production brewery space.
Okay.
And then before that, it was an auto shop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned system. So what size system are you brewing?
We're now a 15-barrel system. We started with closer to a 6-barrel system. Yeah.
Okay. And how many barrels are you doing?
I don't actually know the answer to that question. I haven't calculated it.
So how often do you brew?
Right now we're only brewing it 1 or 2 times a week, and that is because we only have 4 fermenters, so that's our holdup on that right now. We need to buy more fermenters so we can brew more.
So that's a future plan?
Yeah, definitely. Once we get this backlot built out, the next thing that we'll be putting money toward is getting more fermenters.
When you start getting those 400 people back here,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. We'll need beer for them all. I know. It's crazy the amount of beer thinking about projecting out, and our blockage in our system is the lack of extra fermenters. So,
So do you do any distribution, or do you sell everything here?
We do distribute. We distribute bottles, 22-ounce bottles, and some kegs around town.
Okay.
We self-distribute, and we go as far north as Linwood and east to the east side, Bellevue and Redmond, and then down to about South Center.
Okay. Cool. So, what was the first beer that you guys brewed?
Commercially?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't remember. I know when we opened, we had 6 beers on tap, and if I remember correctly, there was a Kolsch, Pale, ESB, Tangerine, Wheat, now called Tangerine Hefeweizen, Snowbeard Winter Ale, and I can't remember what the 6th one was. Yeah, Belgian, probably a Belgian. We've always had a Belgian on.
Right. It seemed like a lot of German, Belgian styles? Is that something you guys do on purpose?
Yeah, we like those styles. Yeah. We really try to have a big variety. That's our goal. So right now we've got Kolsch, ESB, Pale, IPA, more like standard beers. We've got winter beer, black IPA, tangerine Hefeweizen, a dark Saison, a Belgian, a Berliner Weiss. Like, we try to kind of just have a wide variety to make sure that, everybody who walks in the door has a beer style that they're going to love.
Right.
And Dave and I have such different beer tastes, I guess. So, that kind of goes into the planning of looking at it. Like, well, what do you want next? Well, there's not this style up there, and I really like this, so we should do that. And so that's how we originally got started, is Dave and I went back and forth. We each got to choose a beer style. And that's, he likes the darker, hoppier beers. I like the maltier, kind of sweeter beers or Belgian styles. So
nice.
Gave a good variety.
So he's the head brewer?
Yeah, he is the brewer.
He's the brewer.
Yep.
And I don't know what that next question was. There was something there.
That's okay.
But any styles that you haven't done yet that you're thinking about?
Yeah, actually, so our wedding is this summer. Dave and I are getting married, so we successfully started a business together, and it improved our relationship instead of killing it, which it could have, I'm sure. And so we're actually having our reception out here in the beer garden, which will be great. Sense. And we want to do a Belgian wit as our wedding beer, and that's a style we haven't done yet, and we both really love.
Okay.
So that one's coming. Dave's also hoping in a week or two to brew a cream ale and have that on nitro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so those are two that are coming up that I know of.
Okay, interesting.
And bringing back our coffee Saison, because that was a well-loved one. Yeah.
Now,
bring that back.
Speaking of well-loved, is there any beer that is like a signature beer of yours?
I don't know. I mean, I've had people ask if we have a flagship beer, and it's hard to say. If I had to say the beer that I think is our flagship, I would say it's our ESB. That one, it's the one that I always tell people when they're wanting a keg for a party or a good crowd pleaser. It's my go-to beer for that is our ESB. It's a really good beer. Our Velocopter Imperial IPA, we brewed that for our first anniversary last year, and that beer is so popular and does so well in the bombers. It's our best seller in the bottles. So that one's good too.
Now, so obviously you're building beer garden, expanding more fermenters. So what's the goal of the brewery? I mean,
how big do we want to get?
Do you want to distribute throughout the whole state? I mean, do you
I don't know. I mean, we don't have huge ambitions. We would like to obviously be sustainable and have our bottles in stores, but not necessarily every store in the state. I don't know if we'd want to go beyond a 15-barrel system. I think we're pretty happy with that once we get the rest of the system set up, with the fermenters. But I think, once we get this beer garden open and we get more fermenters and just reach whatever capacity that can put us at, I think that's kind of what we want to be. We don't want to be huge. We just want to be just a brewery that's known probably, throughout the state if we could be at some point, not self-distributing, working on with a big distributor. But just definitely organic growth, seeing where that leads to.
Nice. Do you guys use local ingredients?
Well, I mean, as much as we can. So our hops come from Yakima. I think everybody's hops around here comes from Yakima, unless they want the crazy ones from Europe. And our grains, we get at a store locally. I don't actually personally know where it comes. I don't do the grain stuff. But and then we get, if we use herbs or anything, we get them from a local store. And we get our tangerine juice for our tangerine Hefeweizen from Whole Foods. So, we buy local. I don't know if it's necessarily sourced local, but yes.
So what do you think makes your beers stand out? You're saying that, at some point you'd like to be known throughout the state.
I don't know what makes any beer stand out beside it being good. I guess I would just, I don't know, just a wide variety of good beers. I think that's what we really want to do, is just have a wide variety of beers that are all good, tasty beers. And I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say to be known for something. I mean, everybody wants to be known for good beer. I don't know what else there is beyond that.
Right. Yeah, good beer is always a...
Good beer, good community. I mean, as far as like beyond the beer itself, we'd like to be known as a brewery that's very supportive of our local community. So we try to do a lot with that. We on the days that we're not, I appreciate that we're not open every day of the week because it gives us days to hold private events, and a lot of them are free event space for local nonprofits.
Oh, okay.
So I really enjoy doing that. I typically am the one that organizes them and works the event, and it's so great. We had a event this week with a group of AmeriCorps volunteers. And they were looking on local organization so they all can know each other and support each other, and they came to me and asked if they could use our space, and I said, oh yes, absolutely, I'd love to be a space for you to grow your community, and we do a lot with cycling, the local cycling community. So as much as obviously we want our beer to be great and well known for that, but we also want to be known as a brewery that's very supportive of our community.
Okay, yeah, that's always a good thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think that helps grow both ways. Helps grow your community, helps grow your beer, your business, so it works hand in hand there.
Yep, absolutely.
Nice. Have you guys entered any of your beer in competitions?
No, we actually haven't. No? No, whenever we do, we always miss the deadline.
So it's one of those things so far.
Yeah,
right?
It is. It hasn't really been a priority. I mean, it costs a lot of money to enter your beer into competitions, and I don't know. It's just the one thing. Oh, not the one thing, but a lot of things kind of fall to the side, and so far it's not been a priority of ours. I mean, to say that you have the best IPA in the world according to this one beer competition, it's just the one beer competition. So, as much as I like that, it'd be great to have a beer award someday for our beers. I guess you got to enter to win.
Right.
But there's so many good beers out there that it's kind of hard to judge and say one is the best. So someday I'll get on that.
Well, if it's not a priority, then that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But what's something that you've come across an obstacle or something you've had to struggle with, since you guys, either even during the build out or since?
Obstacles. I think, at least in the beginning stages, the most frustrating part of the whole process was the planning, the design plans, like the Seattle DPD, getting our plans approved by them, and all the little things that we didn't hire an architect to do all of it for us. So there's a lot of zoning issues and all these random stuff like that. Currently, now that we are opening this spec beer garden, we have to redo our front door to open outward, but not into the street. So you have to build a vestibule for it, and it's an area that's like 4 inches lower than another area, so you have to redo the concrete. I mean, it's just all these little things with the city planning that's kind of, it's not that I disagree with any of it. It's just one more thing to have to deal with.
Sure.
So that's been something Dave's had to deal with and not me, which I'm happy about. Yeah. Poor guy. But, it's like stuff like that takes away time from being able to brew beer and do other stuff. There's a lot of paperwork, and that's my job is the paperwork. So having to figure out what taxes I have to pay and when I pay them and who I pay them to and all different kinds of forms to submit, and I've definitely missed a couple, and some of them I didn't even know I had to pay until I got the late fee, and then you learn that you have to pay them. And so that's just a learning curve from that perspective too. But as far as being open, right now I guess our biggest obstacle is just, not having enough fermenters, and knowing that we need them, but knowing that the money is, going toward other things at the moment. So, we'll get there.
Haley Woods, Peddler Brewing. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course, thank you.
All right, thank you for joining us today, Haley. We appreciate that. A good interview. Peddler, cool little bicycle brewery.
Yeah.
And I think we recently talked about them. They just expanded and opened up their beer garden, which is very cool.
Oh, yeah, that was we saw that before they opened it, and it was looking like it was going to be very nice. So.
Yep. And we will be right back after local music from Doom Generation SAGOR.
that was Reckless Fire Maniac from Doom Generation SAGOR. You can check them out at ReverbNation.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, make sure you contact us today.
Alrighty, let's try another beer. This time we have Pilsner from Hale's Ales.
Hale's Ales is one of the oldest craft breweries in the state and in the country, opening in 1983. They're open 7 days a week, have a nice menu, including some gluten-free options. They're family-friendly and located in Seattle.
This is a Pilsner style lager.
Right from Hale's Ales website. Cool, crisp, and refreshing. A great Pilsner is a delicate drink and not easy to make. Named for longtime Hale's employee Bill Preeb, straw in color and true to the Pilsner style. Clean, light, crisp, finishing dry. Made with Czech Pilsner yeast and 100% Heidelberg Pilsner malt. Hale's is the only brewery in the region using Heidelberg Pilsner malt for a production beer. Hopped with Czech Saaz and American Tahoma. This has a 5.1% ABV and 15 IBUs.
And it's got a nice flavor. A lot of malt flavor to it. Very light looking. Straw color. I mean, it's very light color. I know what you were thinking. It's good though. Pilsner. It's a different flavor.
Yeah, good.
It's good though.
I tapped that.
All right, this is I Tap That. And this week we have Northwest Brewing Company has released Blunderbusser, a recreation of a historic German beer style known as Kottbusser. The style was nearly lost when it was outlawed in the late 1800s under German purity laws. The beer features Pilsner malt, as we were just discussing, a wheat malt, flaked oats, honey, molasses, and Mount Hood and Sterling hops. It's available now. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with Lazy Boy Brewing in Everett.
This show is produced and edited by me with engineering help from Michelle Rizzo.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or you can give us a call at 541-595-TALK.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hopping, my friends.